I just saw in the chat as it was scrolling through, I saw one go scroll up real quick that said Bomb Bomb is sick. I was like, yes.
There we
What
go.
it up this morning.
We'll take the bomb love. For those of you that have never been on a webinar before, I'm Kevin Andrews. I'm the client enablement manager. I work on the customer success side. You just met Alicia Baruti. She's our national speaker. So she's a big deal. She goes all over the place, talking to a lot of people, imparting tons of amazing knowledge. Now, you might see a face that you don't recognize as much, even if you have been here before. I am so thrilled to introduce Michael Thorne. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Kevin.
Good. I was joking with Michael this morning. You have a better setup than any of us. You work at the video company. You look good this morning.
But let me, that's a very good point. But let me be very clear. When I am sending bombs one-to-one, I certainly am not sending them from here, unless I just have to be in the studio creating content. If you go into my bomb back page, it's a whole lot of cell phone held up at the grocery store. So
you sent us a video last night while you were making pasta in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, there you go. That's a perfect example of you have an idea, just do it, right? Don't get hung up on the other stuff.
Absolutely. So do not let the studio fool you.
Michael, I love that you said that right out of the gate, because for a lot of people here on this session, you may not know this, but Michael Thorne is probably one of the most prolific, highest user customers. I don't know, longest friend of the company. I don't know how we classify that, but Michael Thorne has been doing this for years and years. And he just said oh yeah, but my one-to-one videos aren't in the studio. And why is that, Michael?
Because it seems structured. It's not how you wouldn't dress up in a fancy suit and tie to go hang out with your friends and catch up. You know what I mean? You wouldn't go in a ball gown. It would seem weird. No, that's not real. It's not a connection. And you're not giving people an opportunity to get to know you. But when you're in the backyard playing fetch with your dog, you certainly get an opportunity to connect with somebody about who you are and who they are. So if you were to go into my back end of my bomb and just take a screenshot of any random 30 videos, you would see a whole lot of baseball caps and baseball diamonds and, driving in the car or parked in the car. But yeah, just real life, bringing people along with me. And real estate in life doesn't happen here in the studio. So I try not to do it.
Well, Michael, before we jump into, obviously all of you that are here are excited. We're talking about some ChatGPT and some different things around how do we use AI? How do we kind of combine that with rehumanization? But Michael, introduce yourself for those of us that maybe haven't met you before or don't know a little bit of your background. Give us it doesn't have to be long, because I know this is not your favorite place to spend time, but tell us just a quick overview of kind of who you are, where you come from, those things.
Sure. I'm a real estate agent, realtor, on a team of amazing agents. Jordan Mazey and Trisha Bongers are on my team. I've been working with Jordan since the late 90s. I'm in my 30th year of real estate. I got licensed on my 19th birthday. I live, as Alicia knows, in the ridiculous town of Langley, BC, about 35 minutes east of the incredible city of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I've got an amazing wife and 2 incredible kids, and a bomb. And if this was an interview without bomb, I would tell you, and I've said it a million times from stages, that bomb is the biggest thing that has changed the way we communicate and maintain relationships with our clients more than anything else I've done in my 30 years.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Alicia.
No, I always appreciate how much you believe in what we're doing and how much you're willing to share your knowledge and your experience with our clients. And that's part of why we invited you here today. Obviously we're talking about ChatGPT, which is not have a whole lot to do with video and humanity, but you, much like us, are here because you think it's amazing how technology can free us up and make it possible for us to be more human.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Get into that. I'm going to launch a poll real quick, Michael, and then I want to hear your response to that for sure. But I want to just get a feeler and get a base for this whole ChatGPT thing. I know there's people in all ends of the spectrum here of what you even know about it. Have you even heard about this? Are you familiar with it? Yes, you use it a ton. I've heard of it, but I've never logged on. I have no idea what we're talking about this morning, and that's why I'm here, to learn new things. So go ahead and fill that out. But Michael, talk about that a little bit with what Alicia was talking about, that combination of using AI to be more human in a weird way.
It says hosts and panelists cannot vote. Yeah, no, absolutely. Anything that comes along and creates it's an opportunity to streamline your business, be it BombBomb, be it ChatGPT, but the one that makes the most sense to articulate what I mean is something like DocuSign. DocuSign creates an amazing customer experience if you don't let DocuSign remove the customer experience from you. So when we get an opportunity to sit face-to-face with our clients in the most crucial and most emotional parts of the transaction, we're face-to-face. We might still sign digitally on an iPad, but we're certainly still face-to-face. But at 11:30 at night, when you need an initial to remove a refrigerator from the inclusion list, sending a DocuSign is good customer service, is good relationship. So if you use the technology to remove your humanness from the transaction, that's on the user, not on the technology. BombBomb's the same way. If you're going to use it as a way of just blasting emails and drip campaigns opposed to picking up the phone while you're making pasta and send a video that connects with somebody, then that's on you, the user, and not on the platform. And I think ChatGPT is just the same. I said it to you guys when we were talking about it. There's one winner and two losers when it comes to ChatGPT. The losers are the people that don't adapt it. The losers are the people that adapt it poorly, and the winners that are the people that adapt it in the right manner. And so that's where I believe the technology is. And I'm way down the rabbit hole. It's incredible. This is 1995 internet. That's how much it will change our business.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what's so exciting. And you can see I shared the results for this poll just to kind of let people see. We've got the entire gamut of the spectrum. We've got 40 people that are like, what are you talking about with all of this? So if you're there, great. You're going to get a really cool introduction into what this is and how it can be powerful for your business. If you're on the other end, great, because Michael has, just in some basic conversations I've had with him, has already taught me incredible things that I would never have thought of in this space. So let's take it to a very basic level. Obviously, you said this is like 1995 internet, right?
Yep.
How do you describe ChatGPT? How do you put that into a basic description when you're trying to kind of begin this conversation with people?
Yeah, I think it's the thing that people have a hard time getting their head around, but once you get your head around what it is, I think it makes a difference. BombBomb has a purpose. The platform, the software has a purpose. It's to help you send videos into people's inboxes from wherever you have an internet connection. DocuSign has a very clear purpose. It's to help documents get signed digitally. The thing with ChatGPT, it doesn't really have a purpose. That is your responsibility as a user to give it a goal, to give it a function, to give it instruction. It's a brain. It's a brain that is waiting to be used in whatever way that you want to. Right now, we're living in a text in, text out world, and text can be, as you guys know, code. I made it do some ridiculous things with some BombBomb code by just talking to it, because code is text, and we are weeks away from image in, text out, text in, image out, video in, audio in, that sort of thing. So it's like having an expert in any category you want that can sit across the table from you and answer your questions and deliver you content at a moment's notice. So if you want to sit across the table from a marketing manager, you can. From an SEO expert, you can. From a therapist, you can. So it's a blank brain. It's super, super smart, but it will function the way you instruct it to function. And that's where it comes down to prompting, Kevin. Prompting. And that's really what Valerie Garcia and I have been teaching throughout North America here in the last couple of months, is teaching people the skill of prompting. That will be the difference maker of those that can use it well, and those that don't. Learning how to prompt properly is the skill. And people will talk about Bard. People will talk about Bing. It will be the skill, Midjourney. It's the skill in any AI platform as it evolves, the ability to give it some context, to seed it with some information, to instruct it to get the result you want. If it doesn't give you the result you want, that's because you didn't instruct it properly. And one of the great things is when you get a result back, you can just simply say to it, hey, why didn't you give it to me in a bullet form? Why didn't you give it to me in the table? Why did you miss this step? And it will say, oh, you should have asked me to do this as well. And then you just cut and paste that and create your prompts. And that's a whole, I mean, this is a week-long, 6 hours a day conversation, but
yeah, we're going to try and cram as much into the next 45 minutes as your brains can hold. And somebody did chat, I forgot to mention this earlier on. We are recording this. We will definitely be sending you the recording. So if you feel like oh my gosh, you just flew past something that seems crazy and you're already on to another amazing thing that Michael's imparting, we will send you that recording. You can share it with people. You can rewatch it.
I think, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead and go with your questions.
No, some of the things that we talked about when we were talking about this session that I really want to bring us back to share with this audience. And one of the things that we talked about is that, this isn't a replacement for you and your knowledge, right? I think one thing that you said specifically, Michael, was it's an amazing tool, but it doesn't have your 30 years of experience. And so it's important to remember that this doesn't replace your experience, right? It's not just as simple as, it does your marketing posts now and you never have to think about it. It's still important that you're bringing who you are into it. And I think that's one thing that is really, really helpful for people to remember that, yes, it's a really, really powerful brain and it's super smart and it can help you with all of these things, but don't let it replace your knowledge and your wisdom and your experience in how you're going to communicate with your clients.
That's one of the losers, Alicia. Like when I said, those that don't use it, those that use it poorly. You'll see if we do get into some more examples, especially when it comes to voice. If ChatGPT is creating content in a voice, in a style, and a tone that's not authentic to yourself, your brand, and your business, when you do get to face-to-face, when you start to develop that relationship, it won't improve the relationship. It'll create a point of distrust. And therefore, everything I've learned from you about mortgages, about real estate, about car sales, you actually don't know. You're just regurgitating somebody else's information, whether it's AI or something that you cut and pasted from the internet. And so when the person finally sits down from you in real estate at the kitchen table, after they got to know like you, where trust happens at the kitchen table, if it doesn't reinforce the relationship and the person they suspect you are, then you're in trouble. And so, and I said to you guys, it's very good. And someone already said to it, it's great for brain block. Nothing gets you quicker from 0 to 80% of an idea than ChatGPT in my life. I've seen it from 0 to 80% of an idea. And then you take that idea, you massage it, you fine tune it, you put your spin on it from, let's say, 80 to 95%. That's where you put your flavor, you're on it. And then what I do for a lot of the outputs is I put it back in and I say, all right, convince me that this output, be it a blog post, be it a script, be it a drip campaign or a workflow in my CRM, convince me that this can be better. Give me detailed ways where things I've missed. Rip this apart, and then it rips it apart, and then you press great. Out of those 10 ideas, add idea 2, 7, 9, and 10 to the finished product, and there you go. So it's 0 to 80, then 80 to 95 you, and then back to them for the last 5%. That's how I've been using it. Ridiculous. I mean, I can make it do some ridiculous things. Like it still blows my mind.
That's what we're going to get into. Did you have anything else, Kevin, before we start getting into the fun stuff?
I mean, I think for those of you that are more technical thinkers and are going, how do I be effective with this? We're going to talk about prompting and how to start to build that muscle, because watching Michael work with this and talking with him, I learned, like, when I've gone in and played with it, I haven't been as blown away because I was giving it very vanilla questions. I didn't know how to start or where to begin. And so that's going to be a great lesson. But I think those of you that are technical thinkers, that 80-15-5 formula, the second he said that, when we talked, a week ago, Michael, it immediately was like, I love that. That's something I can work with. It's not replacing me, right? It's helping me get the benefits. So that idea of let it get you from 0 to 80% of a project right away. Then you put yourself, that experience that Alicia was talking about, that 30 years, whatever you have in your industry, that's that next 15%. And then you let it rip it apart. You let it improve it that last little bit at the end 5%. I just think that formula is so smart because it's not taking us out of it. I think my big fear with anything like this is, are we going to be able to see through it? Is there going to be differentiation between people? Are we going to all start sounding the same? Is it going to create that?
Yeah.
And I think this formula completely counteracts that and allows you to use it to benefit the projects and save you time and do something. Talk a little bit about that MIT study. That's kind of the last thing I was thinking about. And then I want to jump into the technical stuff, but that was fascinating to me.
This chat is making me so happy. Is there any way we can ask Michelle if we can just stay here for 4 hours and answer all of these questions? I want to have a Zoom call with like 17 of these people afterwards and just talk. Okay. Let's do it. Michelle, I've got no heart out because I started an hour early. That's an inside joke. MIT came out with a paper at the beginning of March. Okay. This is before ChatGPT 4 came out. Now it has not, at the time, I haven't checked if it's been peer reviewed yet, but it's MIT. Take it as a grain of salt. But they found in their study that it helped professionals using it for work. It reduced time on task by 80%. So for every hour of task that you are performing without ChatGPT, I can perform 5. That's pretty amazing. The other thing it found that it improved, on average, quality of output by 40%. So you've got 100%. What's 140% times 5? I don't know, 700%, effort in. And so when you think about that, when you think about the productivity, when you think about the time saving, when you think about it can do the things that you need to get done so you can then step in and be more human, that's where I think the win is. The win is, can it streamline the other things about my business? And it certainly can, in a manner that gives me that extra hour a day to create 5, 6, 7 more meaningful connections with people that then result in a growing business. That's where the win is. And so if it gives me 5 hours for every 1 hour I have, look, we've got an assistant now. Once I presented it to the team, this is before the MIT survey came out. Instantly, Jody said to me, "There's 3 of me now."
Yeah.
And so if your assistant goes from being 1 to being 3 of you, how does that impact quality of service, customer experience, what projects that you can tackle that you couldn't get to before? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
That's
all right, let's get into the fun stuff. If you wanna gear up your stuff or share your screen or whatever you want to do there, Michael, we're gonna actually show some like actual chats, some prompts that he did ahead of time. We can start playing once we get through these.
Yeah. So what I did, I reached out to Alicia and Kevin. I said, give me 3 examples that you think we could use that shows people what they can do. So it wasn't on me coming up with ideas. They presented me these ideas last night and they gave me about 12. And I said, yeah, I can do all those. It can take a spreadsheet and analyze it. It can take this and take this. So one of the ones that Alicia had was, can it create a 60 or a 90-minute video that we could send for a mortgage broker to clients based on an article? And so I just quickly typed in 5 things you need to. I just said, what does a mortgage, or what does someone that needs to renew their mortgage in 2023? What do they need to know because of the increased interest rates? And so this is just an article from NerdWallet. I'm not a mortgage person, so I don't understand. I don't know the quality of content that's here, but it's an article. And it's got some points there. And so I could pop over to ChatGPT, and I'm just going to, as you can see, you're going to see I'm pre-written these things. And I'll pop back over to ChatGPT, and I'm in the ChatGPT 4 model. So it's a little bit slower, but you can see this is just a quick idea of a very, very basic prompt. I said, create a 90-second bomb video. Now it knows what bomb is. It knows what the purpose is and the output and the humanity behind it. So I can just say, create a bomb video that I can send out as a mortgage broker to my mortgage clients. Help me advise the clients of mine that are due to refinance their mortgage in the second half of 2023. Help me provide them with some ways that they can best manage the increase in rates. Also, it is key that they know that I'm here to help guide them through the mortgage decisions that are best for them and their families. Use the attached article to help craft a bomb video. And then I got on the bottom there, I say article equals. And that's how I build a lot of my prompts, where then I can swap it out and I can go in here and just grab the article, which I cut and paste in document form. And what happens here, guys, is this is always different. It always going to give me a different answer. And sometimes when we're doing or ChatGPT training live, it gives you some different results. So let's just see what happens. I'm going to go here and press enter.
So I'm just going to recap what he asked it to do. He asked it to write a 90-second bomb script for a lender to reach out to past clients that might need to refinance. And he's using the article as a basis.
Yeah, absolutely. So it says start the bomb video. Hi there, it's Michael Thorne or whoever it is here, your trusted mortgage advisor. And you can obviously put your stamp on this, your own branding. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to talk to you about some important updates of the mortgage market, especially if you're due to refinance the mortgage in the second half of 2023. And then it goes on, it says, here's some key points to consider. And even if this is just to get you to a point where okay, I've got the idea of what I want to talk about, and then you want to just say it in your own words afterwards, but it can give you that script. You could put it in some sort of form if these are going mass out, and you'll see that it's just keeping writing. And remember, I told about client care. And so at the bottom, it says, I'm always here to guide you through these changes and to ensure you make the best decisions for your unique situation. Do not hesitate to reach out with any questions. Thanks for your time. And remember, I'm always here to help you with your mortgage needs. Have a great day. And so by just telling it that you want it to be human, it creates a much different thing than just a Wikipedia. Yeah. You know, it's about being human. Here's some points to consider. And so that's just an easy way. What isn't an issue anymore? And we talked about this. It's how and when. What you can create the content, you can create the blog post, you can create the drip campaign. Now you need to know when to send it and how you're going to send it. So bomb, I send it whenever something comes up. I'm cooking pasta and I think of a question for Kevin and I just send it. So I know how. It's the what. It's the what that ChatGPT really helps you do. It's ridiculously great for brainstorming. So that's sort of example number one.
Well, can I ask a question about that?
Absolutely.
Just to expand, because I think this is something that a lot of people might have questions on. And I have been seeing some chats and stuff in. Yes, the screen is a little bit fuzzy when he's sharing it. I want you guys to know it's less about the exact text that it's giving us as a response right now that I want you to focus on. It's more about the kind of art and skill of what it can provide and how do you prompt and ask and those sort of things. So that's what I want to focus on. I know it is a little bit hard to read that text, so thanks for letting us know that. But talk to me a little bit. You pulled up your Evernote for a second there and we're copying some of your prompts and things in. What have you found to be some of the most important aspects of the prompts to put in? I mean, obviously tone, voice, who you are as a person. Also, do you put things about who the recipient is? I mean, what are some of those factors that you have found to be really beneficial in that regard?
Yeah, so I've done it. And if I pop over to my Evernote, just for you guys to give you an example, and I know you can't really see, but these on the side, these are all my curated prompts that I have. This is 10 questions to a blog outline, prompt 1, prompt 2, prompt 3, and they're detailed and they're saved. So I can, here's our checklist. So this goes through and automatically creates all of our content out there with SEO optimized meta description automatically. So I just paste this in once and it does it. So just so people know that that's the detail of the prompt. The most important thing is to tell that brain who that brain is, right? Act as a nervous first-time home buyer. Act as a professional copywriter in the real estate industry with 20 years of experience who specializes in this and that and that. And I have a whole formula on how to reverse engineer a prompt, and maybe we'll find times to share that. But you can actually have our ChatGPT reverse engineer a prompt by trying to say, here's my task. Who would be the expert? What would their expertise? What would the checklist be that they would do? And it sort of writes its own stuff. So absolutely, the first thing you need to do is to, and I've got a little list here from another one. The idea, the tone is important. But creating a professional is really important. Who do you want to sit down from? If you just stopped a random person, here's a real estate example, low-hanging fruit. If you just stopped a random person on the street and said, write me a listing description for this property, and here's some details, and that person was a landscaper, Versus if you walk down the street a little bit further, walked into the Save On Foods, the grocery store, and get on the microphone and says, is there a professional copywriter in Save On Foods? And someone came to the front and said, great, you write me a listing description about this property, and here's the key. What outputs are going to be better, the landscaper or the professional copywriter? And so when you just ask BombBomb just the brain, it isn't something yet. It's just a landscaper. It doesn't have a brain. But if you say you are a professional copywriter in the real estate industry in Canada and you have this expertise, and you write in a passionate tone, and you work for a team of 3 realtors and they really care about this and that, then the output is dramatically different because you're choosing whom you're going to sit across the table from. So that's really, really, really important.
Angela asked in chat, she said, would you actually tell it act as? And I did. I'm sure your prompts are way, way better than mine, but I had it proofread a session description that I had written. And I said, act as, I think I even said, pretend you're a copywriter. I think that may have been what I said, but I was like, be a copywriter and tell me how to make this better. And that's just as simple as I did. I was like, be a copywriter.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see this. I'm not, we are, but this is a prompt for combining 2 article outlines into one. Prompt number 1, you will act as a content marketing manager. You understand the importance of creating high quality content that engages the audience and drives results. When it comes to combining multiple similar outlines, article outlines, it's important to have a clear and precise place to ensure the final product is comprehensive, informative, and engaging. Do you understand? And do you understand is one of the prompts that is so amazing. If you give it a prompt and you'll see it, do you understand? And it responds, yeah, I understand. That's the same thing as talking to someone across the table and from them going like this. Like, if I've lost you, I've lost you. Tell me. Here's what I want you to do. Do you understand? ChatGPT, and you'll see it in one of my next prompts. It'll say, yes, I understand. Give me, now that I'm a copywriter, what do you want me to do? Yeah. And so do you understand is such an amazing, powerful prompt because it'll go, no, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. And then you're off to the races, because if you were sitting across the table from someone, you'd get those visual cues that you're not going to get from ChatGPT.
Okay, let's do another one.
That's amazing.
Okay. Okay. So let's pop back over to ChatGPT. And I am going to now start a new chat because I want to create a brand new brain. I don't want this brain to be involved. So I go over to ChatGPT. I'm going to pop down to ChatGPT 4. And this one you'll see is act as. So here it is. I want you to act as a nervous first-time home buyer. You know, I don't know if I can zoom this in for you guys because that might be.
Oh, there we go.
I want to act as a nervous first-time home buyer. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. I will do my best to act like I'm a nervous first-time home buyer. So it's going to do that. Let me go down to my next prompt. And I just pre-written these guys so we can get through the most stuff.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So I said, like location stuff. So I'm worried about it. So I just simply going to ask it, now that it's a nervous first-time home buyer, I said, what are some of the things that make you nervous and apprehensive when it comes to buying your first home? And it will tell you.
We're going to get the nervous chatter.
It's so
yeah,
funny.
it's going to be nervous all the way through. Makes me nervous. Okay, they're going to include, I'm finding the right location. I'm choosing a place that's safe, convenient, affordable, financial component. It's like a huge investment. And I'm worried about, so there you go. It's acting like a nervous first time over. So I'm going to let it print and I'll just come back here. Okay. Pull that out just so as it keeps writing. So it's worried about the home buying process. It's worried about negotiations. It's worried about the financial commitment. It's worried about location. Finding potential issues with the property, so building inspection, hidden problems that can cost you a lot to fix, making the right decision. Of course, these are things that it's worried about.
Michael, as somebody who's been in the real estate space for as many years as you have, just taking your expertise and comparing it to what you know of first-time home buyers, I mean, are these the big things that you're dealing with, just from like a almost fact-checking kind of standpoint?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, for some people, it's a little bit different. Those that are, financially more sound, but yeah, location, financings, the legal stuff, understanding the home buying process. Am I going to make a mistake? It's a huge deal. So absolutely. So now the next prompt will be here. Great. create a series of 90-second personalized bomb video messages that I could send out to you that would help you address and minimize your concerns and apprehensions about entering the real estate market for the first time. The messages would make you feel more comfortable and help you feel like that you're dealing with an expert and a trusted guide that has helped others just like you successfully navigate the first-time home buying process. So it's created the concerns, and now I'm saying, what could I say to you that would make you feel better? And now it should create, I don't know how many videos. Hi there. I'm so excited to guide you through the first-time home buying journeys. I know that can be overwhelming, but with my expertise and experience, I'll make you feel supported every step along the way. Let's get started. Video number 2. You could do these once a day. In this video, I'll share some tips on finding the perfect location for your new home. We'll discuss safety. And now, once again, these are shorter, right? These aren't full scripts. And the amazing part about ChatGPT is it's a continually conversation. Let me give you an example, Kevin. And this is an example I've used in other webinars. Kevin, what would you say if I said to you a case of beer?
Yes, please.
Okay. How much is a gallon of gas?
$4.39.
Okay. And now a dozen eggs.
$15? No. $6. I don't know.
A case of beer.
$15.
Yeah. So I said a case of beer to you twice. One without context that you didn't know I was talking about. The second one, I said the same thing, a case of beer, and you said $15 because of the previous context. And so what you have to understand when you're dealing with ChatGPT, it's not unlike any other platform. It's not Google, it's whatnot. It's about context. And so right now it's writing scripts that are just basically synopsises of the script. It's not giving me the details. So if I pop back over to that now, and it's finished writing, it's written 9 videos, which is great. And I said to him, that's not what I was looking for. Can you write these out as scripts to that I can record for the recipient? So it's basically giving me the idea as opposed to writing the scripts. And so I can just follow up, and it knows the context. So video number 1, it's going to say, hi there, my name is now. So it didn't give me the output I wanted because I didn't instruct it properly. I didn't give it the context. But now it's like, I know it's overwhelming. Now I'm going to make you feel supported. Together we'll find the perfect home. Now it's a script. And so that's the thing about what you want. If you don't get the response you want, it's not on the brain, it's on the prompt. And sometimes I can have a prompt that's just perfect. And one time it doesn't put it in a table. I just press stop generate. I changed it, and I'll quick show you how you do that in case people want to know. Stop generate, pop back up to the original guy, change, and then I can write these out as scripts as Porky Pig that I can further recipient. Now that'll change it, and now it'll write as Porky Pig. Oh, that's right, folks. So that's how, if it's not generating what you want, you can just quickly press stop and go back in there and continue that conversation. So just be mindful if it's not giving the output you want. That's the reason.
So a couple of really important things that I'm hearing, and then we just had a great question in the Q&A that I'm curious if you have any thoughts on. In fact, if you want to read it kind of while I'm asking you this, you can go ahead and do that as well. But the couple of things that I'm hearing you really express is that it's not about necessarily having the perfect prompt to start. It's a conversation. It's building that context. It's really interacting and giving it some, do you understand? I think that's a massive important thing for everybody to remember. Yeah. Ask it those questions.
Yeah.
And also it will flex. It will change if you're not happy with the answers. It's not like if you type in, you kind of use this example. If you go to Google or whatever it may be, and you type in car buying, it's going to give you basically the same, websites and things to go to each time. ChatGPT is not necessarily like that. It can give you different things if you write it in a little different way, if you explore with it more. So it really is about playing with it. If you don't know what your prompt is up front, give it a little something. Do you understand that? And then add on and layer on, and you can mold that to get to where you want. Am I kind of understanding that on a basic level?
Absolutely. And realize I still say please and thank you to it. But that's my innate Canadianism that's in me. But here's the great thing about it. You can upload all the blog posts you've ever written to ChatGPT, and say, analyze these blog posts and give me 10 blog posts that I have not yet covered that will reinforce the domain authority that I've already created. And it will write you 10 blog posts. And then guess what you get to say? 10 more, 10 more, 10 more, 10 more. And it never gets pissed off. It never gets tired. It never gets frustrated. You know what I mean? Like, that's the amazing part of it. Give me more, do it better, fix it. And it just does. It just does. It's
that's
insane.
Wild.
It's insane. Once you figure out the prompting, I mean, I can make it do. I mean, this is very basic. This is to get you started. And it's probably basic. It's probably advanced for, I've been in it and I'm making it do some ridiculous things. And if I showed you like sort of the high end stuff where it goes out and it scores things and it puts things in tables and it puts in links, and it'd be so overwhelming and above your head that you wouldn't have any takeaway. So it is sort of, you have to build off of it. But the ones you guys sent me as things to ask it to do are really great examples of where people, I think people default in the real estate industry probably to listing descriptions, and then they go, okay, what else can it possibly do? And we've already talked about what it can do, right? And that's two examples. The next one is Kevin's ask. And it's pretty awesome. Let me go paste. I think it's just one prompt. And this one could easily be a 3-point prompt. And I don't know how it's going to run, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to open up a new chat. And Kevin asked about objection handling and, could it prep you for a meeting? And so here it is. I've asked ChatGPT. Now I could say, act as a debate coach, act as an expertise in the mortgage industry, act as somebody. I could do it, but let's just go straight into the prompt. Conduct a face-to-face meeting between a home buyer looking for a mortgage and a mortgage broker looking to help the buyer secure their purchase. The buyer has been told that getting the best rate is the most important thing and that all mortgage brokers and mortgages are the same. The buyer will challenge the mortgage broker with objection after objection. The mortgage broker has built his business on repeat and referral business. They also want to do the best possible job for their client. They want their clients to be educated on everything they should know so that they can make the best decisions for themselves and their families. It is crucial that the clients know that there is much more to a mortgage than just interest rates. The mortgage broker will expertly deal with the buyer's objections with compassion and professionalism. The meeting will end with a happy and empowered client that will rave about the care and attention they received from the mortgage broker. Okay, so that's the prompt. We're going to have a discussion between two people and objection handling. And now you could sit back, this would run differently every single time. And you could say, here's the myriad of 30 possible objections. Oh so here we go. It will, now I haven't ran this. I don't know how many times this will go back and forth, but it's amazing for it to ask the questions and then talk about, sure, I still think that the rate's the only thing that matters. Like, yeah, I understand, it's much more informed. And this will go back and just be objection handling after objection handling after objection handling. And it's amazing. It does. I guess I just want the lowest monthly payment. And so you could run this in a myriad of different ways and in different circumstances. But it's amazing how it will just talk to itself about all these things, 30 fixed rate, 15-year mortgage rate. I understand the long-term goals will help you find the right fit. I still think rates are the most important factor. And now you could run this with different things and different objections. You could say to ChatGPT, what are the 15 most common objections mortgage brokers get? It would write you 15. And then you can say, here are 15 objections that I want you to handle. And it would just handle those objections as it goes through. I hear all mortgage brokers are the same. Why should I choose you? So this is just one of these great ways of going through and once again, creating this, it's like having, what are those things where they preview the movie and people give them honest feedback, so you could do that. You could do that 3 times a day you could do it with a home seller who doesn't see the value in the commissions you charge. Like if you were a new realtor, I cut my teeth from getting those objections and then having, holy crap, how should I deal with that? Over the years. Here you could just sit in your house and just get objection after objection after objection that you wanted. And you could go through and you could then manipulate that script a little bit. But there you go. I mean, he went back with like 4, 5, 6 objections and they were handled. So that's just another example of how you can use ChatGPT.
I think the power of this is insane. I think a lot of people, insane. Myself included, for sure, maybe I'm putting this on everybody else. I heard about this initially and thought it's a copywriter. It's here to write me copy for things. That's immediately where my brain went. And then as we started talking more and more, I don't know how many of you out there, I'm sure a lot of us have dealt with this at some point. This idea of like imposter syndrome is like, do I belong here? Am I qualified enough for this? What if we had literally a trainer sitting at home with us at our computer and we could start to flex these muscles? Somebody wrote in there, it's important to think about AI as how do we use it to help us grow, not just put more information to help it grow, which is an interesting concept in itself. But I think what a great way to start training yourself and building your confidence for meetings and really building a deeper understanding of what do people want? What are people asking on a broader scale than I can ever understand in my little scope of my world.
And Kevin, wait 3.5 weeks when it'll be audio in and audio out, and you'll be able to practice your skills. You'll be able to just sit there with a microphone and sit down with someone who objects to you, and you can practice your skills and it will respond. It'll be audio in and audio out. You'll just sit there and talk to the computer and you will practice your skills.
Pretty soon we're going to need Will Smith to start chasing down robots. That's where we're headed, right?
I am not here to talk about the moral responsibilities. Once again, that's a different session.
I mean, I love that we were able to share some really like practical, some business ideas. We definitely want to take some time for questions. So I'm going to start seeing what kind of questions we have in there. If you've been holding on to your questions, please throw them in the chat. A couple things though, because we know as we start getting into questions, people are going to start dropping off. People are going to start disappearing. 2 quick things that I just want to promote for you guys. Okay. The first is next month's session. We're going to be talking about the BombBomb method, which we kind of teased 2 weeks ago. But, you know, one of the things that we always hear from people is like, I need more examples. I need more examples. Do you have examples, or what should I send? And so the BombBomb method is something that we've recently started teaching it's just a really streamlined way to help you identify piece by piece, the places in your business where video is going to make the most sense and to help you be consistent there. And then you can start growing that base. So that's what we're going to be talking about next month. So keep an eye out for the email for that. The second thing I just want to touch on, and then we're going to answer these questions. I know a lot of you that came here today, you're not BombBomb customers, or maybe you're a brand new BombBomb customer and you were hoping to learn about BombBomb and you don't even completely understand all this BombBomb stuff and what it has to do with ChatGPT. We understand. We try and mix it up, and we don't always talk straight about BombBomb. However, I host a group demo every single Thursday. So Michelle, if you can throw the group demo link in the chat, if you want to learn more about BombBomb specifically, if you need some BombBomb questions answered that have nothing to do with ChatGPT, grab that link and register for the group demo. And then tomorrow we can have an actual chat about BombBomb, and I can show you around BombBomb and answer your BombBomb questions. But let's get into the chat.
There's people out there that aren't BombBomb customers.
Can you believe it?
It's really, I can't imagine my business. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is wild when I think the three of us are deep enough into using video on such a regular basis. It is hard to remember not using it in the ways that we are, right? And just the ways that it's simplified.
I just don't have the time not to use it. And that's the thing about BombBomb. It's way better and way faster. Like for me to have written, to have conversed with you guys the other night about examples, if I had to write that out in a text and for me to articulate it while I'm making pasta, it would never have happened. Just open up the laptop. Hey, Kevin, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I can't do. Yeah, I'll show that example. That's awesome. We'll see you tomorrow. Like,
anyway. How was the pasta, by the way?
Oh, this is a great question.
It's always ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is a great question, and I'm going to answer it right away. Anthony wants to know, when will BombBomb integrate AI to do mass video to include personalized names like Maverick? Never, Anthony. Never. Never. We're never going to give you the ability to try and pretend that you're being personal in a way you're not, because guess what? It doesn't matter how good the technology gets. Your job is to use the technology to help you build trust, not to fool people.
One winner, two losers. And I don't mean harsh on those people, because I understand that mentality. But if you're going to use technology to remove who you are at the thought of speed or efficiency, what happens if the consumer found out? Your reputation would be dead in a second that a robot said my name and he tricked me.
Yeah. If you're going to send a personal video, make it personal. If it doesn't have to be personal, then don't pretend it's personal, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Great question, though. I just wanted to get that out for everyone. Okay.
By the way, do we not have a hard out? I love, my favorite thing in the world is Q&A.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a little bit of time, so we won't talk for hours. We promise. We could, but Alicia, I've got a question that I think is one that's been mentioned a couple of different ways. That's in the Q&A, and it's from Dana. I think it's a really interesting topic, and we don't need to get down this full rabbit hole, but her question is that she's a virtual assistant, and she said it definitely threatens to replace me or give the illusion that it will. Yep. And what I think is interesting about the way that she asked it is, can AI simply leverage me or help me be more efficient? Or is it something that is set to replace people that are virtual assistants or salespeople or copywriters? Or how do you think about it in that context, Michael, of the replacing versus being a tool that can be helpful in helping those people grow within their industries?
Yeah, it will replace people, but not the people that won't be, that work to not be replaced. And what I mean with this, when this first came out, I was talking with the amazing Dave Jones. If you guys know Ann Jones and Dave Jones down in Windermere Abode in Tacoma, Washington. And I was like, Dave, I just went 5 days down this rabbit hole. It's just going to level the playing field. And we had a great conversation. He says, at the end of it, I said, you know what? It won't level the playing field. Here's my prediction of how this will work. I think ChatGPT is a multiplier in every sense of the way. If you use it wrong, it's going to multiply your wrong use. I'm an 8. I'm an 8 out of 10 when it comes to creativity, execution. I'm an 8 out of 10. If it doubles me, I'm a 16. But if you're a 2, now you're a 4, right? We used to be 6 points apart, but now I'm a 16 and you're a 4. Now we're 12 points apart. And so what we have to understand is the people that use it well will multiply who they are. So that virtual assistant will be able to get things done in that niche of their business twice as fast, 3 times as much. The productivity can go up. They can create a better experience. Remember, MIT, 80% time on task less, 40% increase in quality. So that person can create better quality content for their customer at a quicker time frame, quicker turnaround, be specific, niche, won't replace you. I mean, that's, I think there's those things, but if we want to have it get in the way and just be an auto and not check it, before ChatGPT came along, if you hired a copywriter to do a listing description, you wouldn't have just sent them the address. You would have sent them the address and the key features and the target demographic and what makes it different from the other. Same thing, ChatGPT. You just wouldn't say write it, right? And then after that copywriter wrote that listing description, what would you do? As a professional realtor, you would read it. You would make sure it's right. Is it 4 bedrooms? Is this on brand? And then you would approve it, approved. But you would still fact check it. You'd still check for bias. You would still check for, in the States, fair housing rules. By the way, you can tell ChatGPT to make sure all your outputs are within fair housing rules and it will do it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't check, because any mortgage broker or any bank manager or a real estate broker won't care whether it was ChatGPT or not. It's still your license on the line, right? It's still your ethics. It's still your brand. It's still who you are. And you have to protect that at all costs, your culture and your brand, because once it's burnt, it's burnt. And that's why, like that example of that Maverick issue, you can do that, but you're playing with fire, and it won't take long before you send out that one email that says insert name here, with the double brackets, and because it didn't do it, auto populates it and sends it out. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, And let's say that was the first time you used an insert bracket name. All the other ones you sent out, all those other emails were personable. Guess what it does? It negates all your previous 20 videos that you sent out because this one was fake. The other ones were too. And you just burnt a client. And you know what I mean? As a realtor, listen, if you know that that's the risk, I always have a soft spot for realtors or people, industry people who don't know the opportunities. Now, a couple of you know a little bit more of the opportunities. A couple of you will find me, track me down on Facebook Messenger and ask me a question. Good. I like those people that are willing to put in the effort. But now you know the pros and cons or some of the pros and cons. If you misuse it, I don't feel bad. I feel bad people that don't know. But now that you know, if you're going to misuse it, I sleep at night. Where I lose sleep is people that don't know better. But once you know that you're playing with fire with your brand and you're trying to take a shortcut, if you go out of business, I won't lose a wink. I know that's hard, but it's you wanted to cheat the system, or you wanted to try to skirt and not take care of people and not put more good in the world than you take out. How can you ask to cash in on a relationship if you're not putting in? How can you ask that person, that maverick, to cash out, to help you send your kid to college, to help you, take your wife on an amazing 50th birthday vacation? How can you ask them to present value to you when you're not willing to invest in them? That's a quick way to lose.
I think a great metaphor you use.
No way to live your life, in my opinion.
And one of the things you talked about kind of along these when we were talking before was how this is like the internet in 95, right? There was plenty of people that did not want to take on the internet. We look back now almost 30 years later and go, none of those people are in business right now if they're not using the internet. As a real estate, as a mortgage lender, as a pretty much any industry out there, it's a game changer in that regard, right? And you don't have to, but that's a choice you make and you deal with those. And so I think what I heard you saying as well is don't be afraid of it. If you feel like I'm worried about being replaced, quote unquote, lean into it. Learn about how it can make you better at what you do, which makes you more irreplaceable in that line of work. It's not going to replace you if you are becoming more efficient and doing those things. So love that concept. What else are you seeing, Alicia? Are you seeing other questions come up?
Some of these questions in here, because there's a bunch. Someone wanted to know, is there a place that you can find templated prompts, or did you create all yours on your own?
Yeah, so there's a great plugin for Chrome called AIPRM. You can plug it in. You can store your prompts in there, and it's a mass library of prompts. I'll give you a bit of a cheat for it too as well. When you run the prompt, refresh your page and then look at the prompt. It will actually show you the underlying writing of what that prompt was. Copy and paste that, and then put your voice on that. Personalize what the generic prompt was, because if it's a prompt designed to help all of us a little bit, it won't help you a ton. So it's a good place to get ideas, but AIPRM is a plugin. There's also some paid versions of it, but there's like 4,000 prompts that you can search by name and category that you can start there.
Yeah.
Prompting is key.
Prompting is key.
Yeah.
So someone wanted to know about attribution, and they said, my question about attribution has to do with giving credit to or citing your sources of information. If you've used AI tools to help you have info for your work, presentation, etc. I mean, that's an interesting question about giving credit to AI, or what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, this is an evolving conversation right now in the States. You cannot copyright software produced content, but if you got from 80 and you put your 80 to 95, you could then claim that it's yours. Likewise, you could have a ghostwriter create some of it, and then you go over that script. So once I forget the exact words, but once you have altered it to a certain degree or improved it in your voice to a certain degree, then it becomes your content. But you do not have to attribute anything created by AI, but you also can't copyright it.
Got it. Okay. And it's an important distinction.
And one, as business owners, that we can't put our head in the sand and then pop up 2 years later and go, is it changed? This is an ever evolving thing that we're going to have to be mindful of. And what I see right now, you know, I'm going out speaking and training on it quite a bit. And unfortunately, in our industry and industries, we see speakers that see an opportunity to cash in, and they pretend that they're experts on it, and they haven't really. And I'm certainly not an expert. No one can be. I really see some really bad advice being given out there, and people that obviously don't know better listening to it. Be mindful of what if it's wrong with your gut, just be mindful of. There's a lot of people cashing in on speaker fees right now.
Yeah.
Michael, Bob had a question on the first one when you were talking, when you put the article copy in.
Yeah.
You had put in, I'm going to say code or prompt, for lack of a better term, of like the article equals or something like that. Yeah. What was that you typed in?
Yes. So I'll try to find a prompt here that that probably has 2 or 3. Here's a really easy prompt. I'll show you here. So this is a prompt. I don't know if I can move this over. Yeah, I can. So here's a prompt that I always ask for missing content. And you can see on the right-hand side there, prompt number 1, I want you to act as a professional editor and copywriting coach. Do you understand? Great. Then I said, review the outline type of content, review the article, review the blog post, review the video script below about 7 things you need to know as a first-time home buyer, and suggest relative information that can be that is missing from the type of content. And then all I have to do is type of content equals blog post, topic is that. And so it's a really easy way of having these longer prompts where you only have to then change 1 or 2 little outputs at the end of the prompt, opposed to writing it everywhere that sort of insert is. And so it's like a little placeholder. If Janet Matsky is on the call, just say yes, that was you. I just got a message. I see if people are reaching out. I love it. So it's just a way of creating these prompts where if you're running these over and over again, and look, don't put tons of work if it's just one little question. Don't do that. Yeah, that's me. Don't do one little question. But if you're creating these prompts and as they evolve, it's just an easy way of doing. And it doesn't make sense where you can just have a little placeholder. So as the prompt does, you don't have to replace the things at the bottom. So it just makes it easier to do. And ChatGPT understands what you're doing.
That's great.
Someone wanted to know what the top 3 bad advice pieces you could share for us to be aware of in this space. So what are the top 3 types of bad advice that you think people should be on a lookout for?
Not editing and not checking for bias. Editing and bias, guys, are so huge. The thing that makes this technology so much different than other technologies, it was trained by human input. So it was trained on human information. It would answer questions, and then humans would rate the answers. It would get 3 answers, and it would say, this one's the best. And then it would know what it was doing. And then this one was the best answer. Well, that inherently brings in bias. It brings in sexism. It brings in, financial bias. It brings in people's life experts. It brings in racism or political affiliation or whatever you want to do. So you have to check for the biased. Biased and editing are important. Number 2, voice. And I'll give you a little bit of prompt, and maybe what I'll do is I'll send it out to you guys at Bomb. I'll send you 2 ways to check your voice. One prompt, you can upload something you've written to it. But the other day I was like, what if people don't have a content? So I've created a little bit of a prompt where it asks you 10 questions about your writing style, and then presents 3 authors that write most closely in your writing style, so that when you want to write a blog post, instead of write in my voice, write in Alicia Barudi's voice. And if it has got a lot of knowledge about who Alicia Barudi is, you're not really writing like Alicia Barudi because you're trying to write like yourself, but Alicia writes a lot like you, uses your sense of humor, your word structure. And so it's just a quick little prompt that says, ask me 10 questions about my writing style. You can make it 20 questions. And then what I did is I just ran that like 3 or 4 times. And then I just found out what the most common name was, and it's this author named David Allen that I write like, and so that's another way. But voice is obviously another thing, huge disconnect. Yeah, I think cut and pasting is just putting it out there. Not prompting, not digging deeper. Those are probably the big ones for sure.
An important thing someone mentioned in chat that is important to be aware of is that if you are uploading your own writing into ChatGPT, the language model is using it, and
Samsung,
and it's not private to you anymore. So they do have anything of yours that you're uploading. I saw on Twitter, someone was like, oh, this is brilliant. I'm an author. And rather than like getting all of my rejections, I'm actually uploading my first novel into ChatGPT and having it like tell me what, agents would think or whatever. And authors were like, stop, do not upload a book that you wrote personally into ChatGPT, because privacy wise, they're using the stuff in there to learn and to train the language model. So you also have to be cognizant of that.
Samsung posted a bunch of code to try to fix a problem, their engineers, and they gave away all the secrets of all the things they're working on.
Oh, no. Well,
so I think one of the things we'll see as it evolves, I think we'll see siloed language models where a company like IBM will have an internal ChatGPT system that doesn't connect to the internet. We'll see a lot more of that. But yeah, but isn't that, don't you expect yeah, I know what you mean. Be aware of it, but that's the internet. Privacy is gone. Be mindful of what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't text my wife my credit card number. I'll call her, you know what I mean? And I probably shouldn't even call her and have her write it down, but there's no way I'm texting that.
Totally. Yeah.
One thing I've seen come up a couple times, Alicia, is people just from other industries saying, hey, I'm not a realtor, but I depend on a lot of communication and things. Can I use ChatGPT? Absolutely. We've obviously been speaking a lot to the real estate, the mortgage side, because we have so many people from those industries here. But this is not, you could be in any industry, in any situation across the world. And that brain that is ChatGPT can be beneficial to you. A lot of these rules, a lot of these principles work the same way. You just personalize it to what you're doing. So
and your clients are using it, or your consumer. It's the fastest growing platform in the history of humanity by a ton. Like it blows any Twitter, Instagram, Netflix. It's the fastest growing platform in the world. Yeah, it's for everybody.
I mean, today we were talking, more primarily about business applications, but like I asked ChatGPT to help me plan my itinerary for the trip that I'm taking my daughter on after graduation to Europe, right? Because I knew some of the places that we wanted to go, but I asked ChatGPT to help me build an itinerary, and it spat out some places I didn't want to go. And I was like, not there, but like things like that. There's people that are having ChatGPT help it come up with meal plans, or inputting ingredients that they have in their fridge and in their pantry into ChatGPT and say, give me 5 recipes that I could make with these ingredients. Like, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. There's they were in their new multimodal model. You can take a picture of your fridge and say, what can I make tonight, from a photograph, and it'll identify all your ingredients from the photograph.
You were telling us a story, Michael, about a friend who found 5 recipes, put them all in, had it said, break down how many I need to buy of everything shopping wise, then break it down by where in the store I'm going to need to get that by department. So they could just
like group all the vegetables together and group all the dairy together and group, like if I need 3 carrots for day 1 and 3 carrots for day 6, just tell me I need 6 carrots. It's
crazy.
It's a different world.
Yeah,
and that's the thing is too, is it if you think, can it do that? Yeah, it can do that for you. If it can write it in text and it doesn't break any moral issues, right? If there's no morality issues that it has limitations for, it will do whatever you want it to do. Yeah. That's the thing. It will do whatever you want it to do.
So here's a question that kind of takes us a little bit back to our roots beyond just ChatGPT in general. But somebody asked kind of early on in this, with people being oversaturated with email and still working remotely and those sort of things. How are you? I'm going to tie this to ChatGPT a little bit more, but Michael, how are you using this to kind of break through that noise? It could definitely be a tool that just adds to it if we don't listen to some of those things you talked about, right? We're not proofreading it. We're not double checking it, but how are you using these technologies, obviously video with BombBomb and those sort of things, to kind of break through just that digital pollution that we're all dealing with so much?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question, and it happens to be a bomb. It happens to be a bomb answer, but it's such a very good point. Steve Passanelli said on stage years ago, and he's one of the best human beings around. He said every email you sent, and I'm going to broaden to it. Every email you sent trains the person whether they're going to open up the next one, right? You can't say, you know what, I'm going to send 10 emails to my past clients this year, and I'm really going to put a ton of effort into 2 of them. Because the other ones that you don't put effort in, train the person not to open the one that you are going to put effort in. And so let's even take that more. Let's say email. Every communication you have, if every single time you pick up the phone, your buddy asks you for a favor and is never there for you, then the phone rings and guess what happens? It goes to voicemail. That's just society. But if every time the phone rings, the person on the other end improved your life, added value, answered your questions, helped you attain your goals, then when the person rang, then that phone rang, it like when I get an email from Alicia or Kevin or Michelle, hey, we're doing a webinar. Do you want to? Because you improve my lives. I like being around you people. But that's certainly not my reaction for everyone, but I've been trained to behave that way from the other person. And so if you want to cut through the noise, add value, make people's lives better, be a good human. Law of reciprocity is a real thing. It's a real thing. And so, yeah, you can either contribute to the noise, right? You can contribute to it, or you can cut through it. That's your option. I tend to, and one of the best ways to cut through the noise is one-to-one. Like that's go back to BombBomb. My open rate for one-to-one BombBombs has got to be 100%. It's got to be close to that because it's communication meant for one person. I hold up my little BombBomb, right? My little message for, BombBomb, by the way, also a little 3D print there. There's no way they're not opening it. Or if they seem, it's like, if I'm in a studio, I have to use this because they think it's mass communications. Go back to the beginning. But if I'm out at the ballpark, they know it's not mass communications. Like if I'm walking off an airplane and I'm sending it, and it's like, how can you, like, they know that's not a mass, but once I'm in this environment, this to me is necessary, which just proves the mentality or the mindset of the consumer. If it looks too good, it's not meant for me. Like, and that's in a weird thing. If it's too professional, it's not meant for me. It's meant for everybody. So you got to be mindful of it, but just don't add to the noise. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Michael, a bunch of people have been chatting throughout this of going, how do I stay in touch with Michael? How do I keep in touch with him? How do I learn from him? You have been so kind and gracious to BombBomb and all of our people for so many years, but what is the best place for people if they want to follow you? Is it LinkedIn? What are your sites that you are?
If you want to ask me a question and you want to have a conversation, Facebook Messenger is where you'll find me. Like that. I mean, that's my spot. That's the way you're going to get voicemail back. I'm not a typey texty person. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I lean into BombBomb so much. The written word eludes me a little bit and like frustrates me even if I have to write a single sentence. So you're going to get a voice response to me on Facebook Messenger, or you're going to get a BombBomb. But the easiest way to track me down, and listen, I'll stand in front of a group of 5,000 people and I'll say, if you want to dig in further, reach out to me. And one of the reasons why I can say that is because 3 people will. We all say we want this information. If you're not willing to put in the effort to hunt me down and ask me the question, then it wasn't really that important to you. And so come find me. You'll find me on Facebook Messenger, probably the easiest way to get me there.
Awesome. You're always so generous with your time and with your knowledge. and your experience. We're so grateful for that. We're gonna wrap it up here, but I wanted to share one thing that I saw in the chat here. This was from Todd. He said he's been on a number of these real estate based ChatGPT webinars, and this one was the best. He's the lead tech trainer at Windermere Real Estate and has been working with folks on the topic. And he really appreciates you nailing some of the key watch your butt issues that he's been covering in training. You opened my eyes to more on the coaching aspects that it can be used for by creating situational scripts. Also love Dave and Anna Jones.
The nice thing about the Windermere crew now, I'm wondering if he's Windermere, he's got to be here on the West Coast. He's got to be in Washington State or Oregon or something like that. There's some lovely places in the world, but if he's in Washington State or in Oregon, two of my very favorite places, they're right below me. Awesome human beings there. So that means a lot to me. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much. Michelle, if you could throw the link for the group demo in the chat again. If you came to learn about BombBomb and you feel like you are still a little bit lost on BombBomb, if you need that, I run the group demo every single Thursday. So you can click that link, sign up. We'll talk about BombBomb. I'll answer your BombBomb specific questions on that as well. And we won't even talk about ChatGPT. So thank you everyone for coming. Michael, thank you so much. This was so fun, really informative, tons and tons of good vibes in the chat. So
awesome.
Yeah, we'll send out the recording. You will get the recording. I promise you. You can watch it again. You can share it out to people that you think would really benefit from it. Michael, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Alicia. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Michelle.
It's always so easy. We love having you on. If there is somebody that would be fighting against this AI thing that has more passion and excitement and personality and who they are, and the fact that you're leaning in and just using it to build and helping us do that, man, we cannot thank you enough. Thank you for everything you do.
You guys are more than welcome anytime, as you know.
Hey, thank you all for being here, spending your morning with us. We appreciate all of you so deeply. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and we can't wait to see you next month. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.